Imagine love that doesn't cling or crave, a love that frees rather than confines. What if the deepest connections we seek go beyond romance and attachment into a realm of liberation? When we think about love, it often brings to mind romantic relationships, passionate emotions, or deep attachment to other people. But from a Buddhist perspective, love is not limited to these conventional forms. In fact, Buddhism encourages us to look beyond the bonds of attachment and craving to discover a love that is compassionate, free, and transformative. This journey begins by questioning the very nature of attachment and how it shapes our experience of love and happiness. What if everything we think we know about romantic love is only a small fragment of what true love could be? Let's dive deep into this fascinating perspective and explore what it means to love beyond romance and attachment through the lens of Buddhist teachings. To start, it is crucial to understand the difference between attachment and true love. Attachment often masquerades as love but is based on craving and clinging. It binds us and creates suffering. True love, from the Buddhist point of view, is grounded in compassion, kindness, and liberation. It is a love that does not insist that the other person be a particular way or that the relationship follows a certain script. It is love without grasping or expectation. This kind of love is powerful precisely because it allows freedom for both ourselves and others. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that attachment arises from the illusion of a separate, permanent self. When we believe in a strong, unchanging identity, we cling tightly to people, experiences, and outcomes that seem to bring us happiness. Yet, since all things are impermanent, this clinging inevitably leads to suffering. Recognizing this, Buddhism offers the practice of mindfulness and meditation to see through this illusion, to observe how our attachments arise and fade like passing clouds. Through these practices, we cultivate a gentle awareness that allows us to experience love without grasping. One of the most beautiful concepts in Buddhism related to love is metta, or loving kindness. Metta is an unconditional goodwill for all beings, not limited by closeness or favoritism. It is a love that flows freely and benevolently, without grasping or expecting anything in return. This universal love extends beyond romantic interests to include friends, strangers, enemies, and even ourselves. Practicing metta transforms our heart so it becomes a source of boundless compassion rather than a place of scattered craving. Another key teaching is the Four Noble Truths, which illuminate the nature of suffering caused by attachment and show a path beyond it. The first truth acknowledges that suffering exists in life. The second explains that this suffering is rooted in craving and attachment. The third reveals that liberation from suffering is possible. And the fourth outlines the way, the Eightfold Path to freedom. Following the Eightfold Path helps us cultivate ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom, all essential qualities for love that is free from attachment. Let's consider how this applies in everyday relationships. When we approach romance or friendship with awareness of impermanence and attachment, we begin to see our partners and friends as ever-changing beings rather than fixed possessions. We learn to appreciate presence rather than prediction or control. We start embracing vulnerability not as weakness but as openness. The love that arises here is not dependent on possession, but on deep acceptance and respect for the other's freedom. This approach also challenges common myths about love, such as the idea that love is exclusively about passion, or that it stabilizes our identity by merging with someone else. Instead, Buddhist love is about recognizing the interdependent nature of life and celebrating each person's unique path. It invites us to engage with love as a spiritual practice, a way to transcend ego and discover connection in clarity and compassion. One of the most profound practices in Buddhism related to this love is the cultivation of equanimity, a balanced mind that remains steady amidst life's fluctuations. Equanimity helps us love without clinging, because it allows us to face joys and sorrows without losing balance or grasping for permanence. This is what it means to love beyond attachment, to freely give love without the chains of needing, owning, or possessing. Practically, cultivating this kind of love demands honesty and courage. It requires us to look honestly at our motives and fears in relationships and to face the discomfort of letting go. This process is not about becoming cold or detached, but about becoming deeply open and present. It also means embracing impermanence, not as something to fear, but as the very essence of life's beauty. Imagine how transformative a relationship could be if both people practiced love as compassion and freedom, rather than possession and control. Such love would create space for growth, for change, and for authentic connection that goes beyond surface emotions or societal expectations. Buddhist teachings also encourage the practice of forgiveness, both towards ourselves and others. Forgiveness is a form of love that releases resentment and opens the heart to healing and renewed connection. It is an essential step in moving beyond attachment because it dissolves the grasping for the past and makes room for the present moment to flourish. In addition to interpersonal love, Buddhism invites us to extend this liberated love towards ourselves. Self-love, often misunderstood, in the Buddhist context is about acceptance and kindness towards our flaws and difficulties, not egoistic pride. When we nurture this inner love, we build a foundation that allows us to relate to others with genuine compassion rather than neediness or fear. Throughout history, Buddhist teachings have been applied to relationships beyond the personal realm, influencing how communities and cultures view love and connection. The emphasis on non-attachment creates a framework for ethical relationships, where respect, generosity, and understanding take precedence over possessiveness or jealousy. This wider perspective reveals how Buddhist principles can reshape even societal norms around love, intimacy, and community. To better grasp these ideas, consider the analogy of a river flowing constantly. Romantic love and attachment are like trying to grip a handful of water. It slips away despite our tightest grasp. True Buddhist love, by contrast, is like gently cupping water in an open palm, allowing it to flow and move freely without resistance. This metaphor reminds us that love's essence is fluidity, freedom, and generosity. Importantly, practicing love beyond romance and attachment does not mean rejecting or denying emotions. Instead, it is about transforming how we relate to them so they do not control us. Emotions like passion, joy, or even sadness become elements within a larger landscape of mindful acceptance and compassion. This broader perspective helps us navigate relationships without losing our sense of peace or self. Over time, as we cultivate these practices, our experience of love evolves from dependence to interdependence. We come to see relationships as opportunities for mutual awakening, rather than means to fill emptiness or prove worth. This shift is both liberating and deeply fulfilling. Bringing this understanding into daily life might seem challenging, but the practical steps are accessible. Mindfulness meditation, reflection on impermanence, practicing metta, and applying the Eightfold Path in our interactions are all ways to nurture this expansive love. Each moment offers a chance to choose freedom over grasping, compassion over control. In modern times, where relationships often struggle with issues like jealousy, insecurity, and codependence, Buddhist teachings offer a refreshing alternative. They invite us to rediscover love's true nature as a force of liberation rather than bondage. This perspective has the power to heal not only individual hearts, but also to foster healthier connections in families, communities, and societies. As we end this exploration, let's reflect on love as a dynamic, evolving process rather than a fixed state. It is a practice that calls us beyond attachment into a realm where love is synonymous with freedom, kindness, and wisdom. By embracing these ideas, we open ourselves to a transformative experience that enriches all aspects of our lives. So next time you feel the pull of romantic desire or the sting of separation, remember this. Love is not what we possess or lose, but what we freely give and receive without grasping. This realization can become the foundation for a richer, lighter, and more genuine way of relating to others and to ourselves. In a world often obsessed with possession and control, love as taught in Buddhism is a radical and revolutionary invitation to experience connection as liberation. This path extends beyond mere attachment into the heart of freedom itself. It calls us to live with open hearts, steady minds, and compassionate spirits, transforming love from a source of suffering into a wellspring of joy, peace, and awakening. It invites us all to journey beyond romance and attachment into a love that heals, frees, and uplifts, the truest kind of love imaginable. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this wisdom with others who may benefit from it. We'll see you in the next video.